All right. My name is Nicholas Holtman, and I'm doing my presentation or paper on the NBA and the NBA PA, which is the National Basketball Association and the National Basketball Players Association, and it's the league and its union. All right, so the NBA, or better known as the National Basketball Association, is one of the most globally recognized and influential leagues in the world. Its headquarters is based in New York City, New York, and the NBA has been able to transcend national boundaries and is more of a cultural phenomenon that combines high-level athletic performance, entertainment, and commerce. As a professional league that is based out of North America, the NBA is a pinnacle of men's basketball worldwide and has continued to expand its global reach through multiple methods such as strategic partnerships, media rights, and social initiatives. And then the NBA was founded in 1946 as the Basketball Association of America, and it officially became the National Basketball Association in 1949 after merging with the NBL. Alright, so while the NBA isn't owned by any single person or company, it is owned by the teams that are made up of it, which are the franchise owners, as part of a consortium. Um, there have been a total of five commissioners, and the most notable ones are Larry O'Brien, David Stern, and Adam Silver. Um, the NBA is also governed by a board of governors that is composed of all the owners of each of the league's 30 teams. And then Adam Silver also serves as the chief executive officer and the public face of the league. Silver was the successor to David Stern in 2014 and was able to implement changes to the league, such as the play-in tournament and the expansion of international broadcasting. Power in the league is distributed amongst the team owners, the commissioner, and the various league offices that include departments of operations, player relations, and finance. The league itself has its own constitution and bylaws that help define its structure and its governance procedures. So one of the key policies of the NBA is the salary cap. It is one of the most important as this sets limits on the amount that teams are allowed to spend on player salaries before receiving a fine or repercussions. This helps the league create a competitive balance amongst the teams and prevents wealthier teams from monopolizing the best talent. Another key policy is the anti-drug policy, and in recent years has been more lenient to allow the use of cannabis after more recent scientific studies that it can help players with recovery. Um, and it requires but this policy requires mandatory drug testing and has strict penalties for violations, which can include fines, suspensions, and also docked pay. There are also policies on player and team conduct and behavior that affect teams and the players on and off the court. This includes the player code of conduct and fan interaction policy. And both of these kind of just aim to preserve the league's reputation and to make sure that the game creates a respectful atmosphere. The NBA has multiple sponsorships and media rights deals. Some of the most well-known and popular sponsors include Nike, which is the official apparel partner for jerseys, team sportswear, shoes, and then they also have partnerships with Gatorade, Kia Motors, and Google or Google Pixel. Um, these sponsorships involve just in-game branding, commercial placements, and social media ads and campaigns. The most recent addition that the league has added was allowing teams to put sponsors on the jerseys, like little sponsor patches on the shoulder up here. And then on the media side, the NBA has some of the biggest broadcasting deals with every major channel, which include ESPN, ABC, and TNT, along with the NBA League Pass, which is kind of its own little like streaming service. And then to help reach younger audiences, the NBA has also partnered with streaming platforms such as Twitch and YouTube, which allows streamers to use the NBA's content to create clips and streams that help them generate their own revenue. And then internationally, the NBA has expanded its media rights through partnerships with Chinese, European, and African broadcasters. As of recently, the NBA has had major concerns and issues. One big issue right now is load management, which is where stars rest during regular season games. One example of this is Kawhi Leonard. He's notoriously known for missing 40, 50 games a year, and then in the playoffs, he'll come out and kill. But the problem is fans are coming to see him play, and 9 times out of the 10, he's really actually not playing. This just raises concerns about the fans' experience and also the value of the tickets. So like I was saying, like say you pay to watch LeBron and instead you walk in and end up watching Bronny. Most people would feel cheated out of the value and the experience of watching LeBron play. The league is currently exploring ideas related to schedule modifications and rule changes to fix this issue. And then another major development is the in-season tournament, and this was introduced to help increase competition and also viewership. Um, the whole goal of this was to incentivize players to play in the regular season and give more effort, and in return, they would get a bonus if they win. And this also just helps create more viewers because it's better basketball and it's more fun to watch. And then the NBA has also been working to balance business interest in China with promotion of free speech and player advocacy as well. And this is part of the global expansion initiative. The organization within the NBA that I chose is the NBPA, or the National Basketball Players Association. And this is also headquartered in New York, and this is a labor union that represents NBA players. It was founded in 1954, and it is the first U.S. pro sports union. This union creates and maintains a big role in collective bargaining, player rights advocacy, and ensuring that the working conditions are safe and fair to players. The NBPA is a counterbalance to the NBA's current governing body, and it also works to promote and amplify player voices in the league. And then beyond labor negotiations, the NBPA aims to create and foster professional development and business opportunities for players and teams. And the NBPA was initially led by Celtics legend Bob Cousy, but it struggled to gain recognition. But it actually was able to successfully secure basic benefits for players like per diem payments and pensions. And then in 1964 was kind of the turning point when players threatened to boycott the All-Star game until their demands were met and the league's conditions improved. And then since then, the NBPA has grown into a powerful union and force in the sports industry, and they help negotiate salary structure, health benefits, and they advocate for the common good and the promotion of player interests. So the NBAPA is led by an executive director, which is currently Andre Iguodala, and an executive committee that is made up of active players. This includes a president, a vice president, and team representatives. The current president is CJ McCollum, and the first vice president is Grant Williams. The president will work closely with the executive director to help create and guide strategies and also to represent players in public relations and negotiations. The NBPA's governance emphasizes democratic representation, having each team elect a single individual to participate and represent as the voice to team concerns. The union also will include legal, financial, and public relation departments that help to support its mission. So the NBPA enforces policies that are outlined in the collective bargaining agreement. These policies include stipulations about salary structure, free agency, revenue sharing, and also player discipline. And in 1983, players and owners were able to successfully reach an agreement to introduce the salary cap into professional sports. And this was the first salary cap to be introduced to any major sport in the U.S. Another policy that the organization works to heavily enforce is its mental health and wellness policy, which is in place to ensure that players have access to psychological resources and support. This was launched in 2018 and includes 24/7 counseling services and created partnerships with mental health professionals. The NBPA is also heavily involved in player advocacy and social justice initiatives, and they aim to leverage players' platforms for a broader societal impact. So while the NBPA is not a commercial league, it still maintains several significant partnerships. Some of these partnerships include Panini America, which is the official trading card partner of the NBA, Amazon, and Think 450, which is the NBPA's for-profit initiative and partnering arm. Think 450 has created multiple business opportunities for players that include content creation, licensing, and technological ventures. And then they also have the NBA Top Shot, which helps players profit from digital collectibles and NFTs, which will be like digital online currencies that you can trade of each individual player. And this just helps create a diverse income for players and also creates a larger global presence for the player and their personal brand. So the MBPA stands out as a uniquely powered labor union, and one of the reasons why I chose this organization is because of its pioneering role in labor rights for professional athletes. The MBPA is unique in how it negotiates its own contracts and helps to support players in life after basketball. They do this through financial literacy programs and charitable work. The NBPA did face an ethical challenge, though, in 2011 during the NBA lockout, and this was caused because there was a disagreement between the league's revenue sharing policy, which caused players to sit out and basically demand better contracts. So this was between players and the teams slash the league. And then more recently, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the National Basketball Players Association had a huge role in determining and negotiating the terms of the bubble season, and they were able to help lay out the Disney facility and the needs outside of just basketball for the duration of the season for the players. The NBAPA is also largely responsible for advocating for social justice messaging on uniforms and courts, which also was uh, visible during the bubble. And on the back of the jerseys, instead of names, they would get phrases like Black Lives Matter, say their names, and I can't breathe. And then some of the other successful initiatives the NBPA had was the boycott during the 1964 All-Star Game, which I touched on earlier. And then the 1983 salary cap agreement, which was the first of its kind. In conclusion, the NBA and the NBPA represent both sides of one of the most powerful and well-known sports systems in the world. The NBA has evolved to become a global entertainment powerhouse that has a sophisticated governance structure, a high value and high level media rights, and also a very large international presence. In parallel, the NBAPA has matured into one of the most well-known and robust unions, and is a revolutionary union as well. It not only protects players' rights, but also helps amplify the players' voices on social issues. Looking forward, both the NBA and the NBPA are poised for continuous and steady growth. The NBA is getting further into global expansion and has been playing with the idea of either international teams or creating new international leagues, particularly in Europe and Mexico. And then the NBPA is striving to enhance its post-career services and expanding its role in society and social advocacy. The two's collaborative relationships helps to ensure that professional basketball's ecosystem continues to evolve in a balanced and equitable way. And then for my images and my also information, these are the sources that I gathered my information from. Thank you.